So overall, we've been playing this a ton internally. We've been having so much fun with it. It's everything we love about Classic, plus so much more. Plus so much more.
Plus so much more.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's been so long since I've wanted to make videos, but Season of Mastery has truly ignited my inner Classic Andy with a fire only Ragnaros could summon. I'm a hype meter and copium coordinator are being absolutely pumped into oblivion. I am so fucking excited for this, and I think it's going to be something seriously special. The potential of what this could lead to for Classic players is absolutely tremendous, and I love that. So let's get into what makes Season of Discovery so exciting for me. Runes. Some of these runes coming out for the classes are fucking bonkers. I'm a warrior main, so obviously let's start off with some of the warrior runes. Warbringer is absolutely amazing, and this will completely change so many situations for warrior, like PvP, obviously fantastic. Raiden as well, going to be so huge. Even things like quick strike, like depending on how early you get that in the level up stage, like having an if this is a low cost instant attack, it's gonna completely change leveling. You won't have to fucking spam heroic strikes and sunder armors and just wait for damage until level 40. Like, that could change things massively. Like, this isn't even getting into some of the mad class stuff for like warlocks with metamorphosis, shadow bolt volley, wind fury coming to alliance, taunt for paladins. The list is just absolutely endless, and we are only scratching the surface here. We only know what's coming for level 25. Obviously Wowhead have data mined some bits of information that could be coming for later patches, but we have no idea what they've got planned up. It seems like Blizzard's really listening to some of the changes as well. So brilliant, bring on more runes, let's see what happens, and let's see if they're any good. Discovering the runes. It has been teased that some of the runes will be acquired by very simple discovery methods, like early quests that are part of a small chain, and some are maybe even going to be from drops or some in chests. That's pretty cool. Like, it's obviously going to be it's going to be good to have some that are easily discovered. Some of them are going to be part of much more involved quest lines and with maybe more in-depth storytelling and lore. Fucking amazing. That is so exciting to be stepping into. This really breathes hope to me that the Classic team are really ready and excited to create brand new content and not just skin old things and rehash content. Who knows, maybe they are even able to create some quest lines that hold up to the epicness of the Rockdalar Bow for Hunters or the Scepter of the Shifting Sands quest lines. But let's wait and see how these go and how good the rune quest lines are. What we asked for with Classic Plus and what we ended up getting. We are getting literally 99% of everything players wanted with Classic Plus. Sorry, two-handed shamans, maybe there's still time. And so much more. To some people, that is a bad thing, and I think a lot of people think they went too far with these class changes. But I think we really owe it to Blizzard here to wait and see what the game feels like with the runes that we're getting, and give it a chance before we start mold bombing Reddit and WoW forums with hate threads. Tank specs. The potential of rogue tanking. This could be good, a lot of potential, but there could be problems with uptimes of things like Blade Dance. From what I've had a look at with the rogue runes, they seem very parry focused and a lot to do with having Blade Dance uptime. But Blade Dance isn't going to be something you have up straight away because it's a combo point spender, so how's that going to work? But that's obviously, we'll see how that plays out. Warlock tanking, they're going to be fantastic from my speculations so far. Like, their ability to tank and kite things at range could be fucking huge, especially depending on mechanics that are upcoming and new content that they create. Paladins having a taunt, maybe still have bad single target threat, but at least having a tool widens their toolkit and makes them stronger. One thing this will be fantastic for solving is classes like rogues and warlocks farming prebis at endgame. One thing that really sold warrior to me every time I played classic was that if I couldn't get a group within 5 minutes, because I hate waiting around for people, I could just go fuck it, I'll tank, and then fill the group very quickly. Now warlock, shaman and rogue and paladin, but obviously they could do it before, but a lot more reliably now, will be able to do that easily. The tank shortage will be much less of a problem, but unfortunately they're going to try and steal my loot, so that's not too good for me. Let's talk about level bracketing and end of bracket raids. I love the idea for the level up raid content. Small loot, great. Some of the loot they've teased looks fantastic, and I'm a big fan of this. I really appreciate the bracketed leveling. I'm at a position in my life now where I've got things a little bit more sorted than when I was playing Classic WoW. So full-time job, all that shit, and that means that this bracketed leveling scenario is going to keep players like myself that have got less time much more up to date. But even then, like players that can play all the time, I think there's so many changes with these classes now that like, why not just fucking level up absolutely everything? That's what I'm planning on doing if I've got enough time. I want to try out all these new combinations, understand what can be done with the classes, and just try things, so that's great. With these bracketed raids, there is mental potential to reimagine some of the old dungeons as raids. Think Blackrock, Depths, Sunken Temple, and Maraudon. Can you imagine how good a Maraudon raid would be for leveling up? Even endgame content if they were to take it that far, but let's see what happens. One of the main problems or issues you could say that I have with these level up raids is what's going to happen with them when the bracket ends. They did say in a Q&A recently that they would still be relevant because you could go back and do them on alts. Personally, I don't think that's good enough. Like, they're putting a lot of development time and resources creating new loot, new stuff, and all of this, and new layouts, potentially new boss mechanics, for you to just do them in like one level bracket, whereas like classic endgame raids stay relevant for the whole patch release cycle. These are raids that could potentially get scaled up, provide brand new loot. There's a lot of potential with these. I'd hate to see it wasted on something that is just for level up, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not too worried about it. I want to experience it, see what it's like. Maybe it's something they're going to end up doing. We'll just have to see what happens. Let's talk about some of the gear and loot. Some of the loot that was teased at BlizzCon in the playthrough for the dungeon looked brilliant. I really liked the theme of them. They still looked very classic. The two-handed sword that came out, Fathom Blade, brilliant, really exciting. A bit of hit on it, which is like low at low levels, so that's going to fill up that slot, and a proc on it. Nothing says vanilla more than having a weapon with a proc on it, so big fan of that. Some of the cloth chest piece with a lot of armor, that's obviously going to be great for some of the, like Warlock being able to tank. Loads of spell power trinkets were hit on it. A lot of exciting gear on there, so that's some really exciting stuff. That looks good. Some of the gear that they teased looked very powerful. It sounds strange to say, but I hope there is some shit loot that can drop. Bad loot really helps boost the excitement of the rare quality loot dropping, and helps it's definitely part of the classic vibe. So I hope that we're not going to be going into Black Fathom Deeps and everything that the boss can drop is a base for someone. Like, that doesn't feel classic at all. But obviously, let's just see what happens with that. Overall, the loot that we've been shown looks good, so very happy about that. I cannot wait to get the Fathom Blade and pump my nips off in Ashenvale and get that rank gear. Let's talk about developer attitude and enthusiasm. You could tell some of the developers putting forward some of the classic SOD plans and ideologies were really excited to share it. They were getting a lot of applause at BlizzCon, and that's just great to see. There's been such like a negative air around World of Warcraft and Blizzard in general for like a long time, and it's really nice to see some hype and excitement and them getting things right, and it can only lead to good things. Agrend got a lot of love for his presentation, and it feels really good to have a few faces on the team working for Classic that are appreciated and respected. There's been so many memes about 4 people being on the team and them not being able to get things right. Like, I think it's important to have faces at the front of the team that are speaking to the community, putting forth ideas, doing the work, and are respected by the player base. Like, I think that's huge. Blizzard's PR approach and communication style has definitely changed over the last while, and they seem much more open to talk and convey the truth. They've done panels, Q&As, they did the interview with Crix, and all of their responses to questions were very open, and there was no like... It felt less like a politician was talking and more like someone was talking that was passionate about their product, and that's so important. There's nothing worse than going to one of these live stream events or looking at a Q&A and it just feels like PR smoothed over crap. Like, that never feels good. You know whatever content's coming after that is going to be bad. Let's talk about some of my concerns and negatives. As you can probably tell already, my views are very positive. I'm very excited about this, and I am totally getting wrapped up in the hype bubble. But here are some of my concerns. Too many class changes. I personally am fine with everything they've done, but I know a lot of people think that there are too many class changes. This could bring things closer towards like a retail level where instead of classic classes that are very good at specific things and bad at other things, are we going to be getting into the territory where there's multiple classes that are good at everything? I don't think that's a place that we want to get to. I hope we don't get there, but even if we do, I'm willing to give Season of Discovery a try. I want to see how it plays out, and at the end of the day, as long as it's fun and it feels good, that's all that really matters. Some of the new class role options do feel a little bit weird. Like, imagine turning up to a raid and your main tank is a warlock. Like, he's just standing in front of Ragnaros, pumping Seer of Pain, soaking the hits for like 2 minutes straight. Maybe not 2 minutes, maybe 20 seconds with the damage that we're getting. But like, yeah, some things do feel weird. We're gonna have to see how it pans out. Definitely willing to give it a try, but it does feel strange. I know some people are definitely feeling like the bracketed leveling takes away an element of sweat from the game. Having 60 available straight away and Molten Core available straight away, like, there's definitely so much excitement about racing to 60 and blasting that first Molten Core. I think the approach they're going for is much more inclusive of casual players. Personally, I don't mind that because I am playing games much more casually this day. I know I've got friends that don't feel that way. They would much prefer it to be out all in a one, kind of like a classic was, but yep, let's just see how it goes. Loot. I hope they don't make all of the loot awesome. Classic is definitely all about running a dungeon 300 times to get a shit green pair of braces, and on your 301st time you finally get the blue you've been after, and it's like a 3 strength upgrade, but it's piss. It makes loot feel rewarding and powerful, but let's wait and see what the devs come up with and let them cook. Loot Part 2. New endgame raids like a potential Kara Crypts or who knows what. I hope their loot doesn't overshadow other content unless it's meant to be done after the current classic content. Like, if they bring out a raid that is as difficult as BWL and can be done in some blues and MC gear, then it should drop equal gear to BWL, and that's it. That's quite hard to do in Classic because it's not as item level locked as retailers, which makes it uber face roll to design gear for, but that's just another concern. I think this is quite an important part to getting the loot right. Like, if they make a raid that is dropping better gear and it's easy to do, nobody's going to go and do those older raids, and I'd hate to see that happen. Loot Part 3. They need to make sure raids do not drop complete gear overhauls. You go to MC, then you go to BWL, then you go to AQ, and then you go to Nax. By the time you get to Nax, you're still wearing a few pieces from Molten Core, more pieces from BWL, and a lot of pieces of AQ40. This is fucking brilliant loot design, and it adds so much depth to the raiding scene in vanilla. It's like a loot pyramid of perfection that makes me think of food because I'm a fat bastard and I like it. If they start making it to where the point that raids are dropping complete item sets for classes and specs is really going to reduce the need to go back to older raids, and I do really enjoy that about Classic, so I personally hope they try and avoid that design principle. Let's see what happens. This pretty much wraps up some of my thoughts for Season of Discovery. I'm very open to changes and extremely excited. I am just sitting waiting in front of the computer in my spare time, ready to scoop up any SOD news and to build up my hype meter. I never thought we were going to get a modified version of Classic provided by Blizzard with so many changes that were asked for by the community. To be negative about this before experiencing any of it would be mind-blowing. I am very grateful for this gaming opportunity that we have been given, and I can't wait to see where this takes our beloved game and what journeys await us in the future. Who knows, maybe they will bring out a new Scarab Lord styled questline that matches up to the epic glory of the Scepter of the Shifting Sands. But now I'm really dreaming. Keep on blasting, and I'll see you there.